You think the silence means God forgot you. But what if that silence is proof He's setting you apart for something greater? What if the isolation you're feeling isn't a punishment, but a preparation? This is the story of Anna, a woman who thought she lost everything only to find that God was positioning her for a life she couldn't have imagined. If you've ever felt forgotten, rejected, or painfully alone, stay with this story. It might just be the reminder your soul needs. Anna grew up in a sleepy town just outside Austin, Texas. Sundays were sacred, church in the morning, potluck in the afternoon. Her father was a deacon. Her mother led the women's prayer circle. And Anna? She was the girl who never missed youth group, always had her Bible highlighted, and prayed before every meal, even in public. From the outside, Anna's life looked perfect. A stable job in graphic design. A solid boyfriend named James, who went to church with her most Sundays. A best friend, Sarah, who had been with her since 6th grade. But despite the praise and smiles, Anna always felt a quiet unease inside. It wasn't depression. It wasn't rebellion. It was something more subtle, like the whisper of a question she was too afraid to ask out loud. Is this it? Was the Christian life supposed to feel this hollow? She'd read stories of radical faith. Moses at the Red Sea, Paul in prison, Esther risking her life for her people. But Anna? She went to work, attended small group, posted Bible verses on Instagram, and came home to Netflix. Her heart longed for something deeper, but everything in her world seemed comfortably shallow. Until the breaking started. It started with Sarah. Out of nowhere, Sarah stopped responding to texts, missed calls, skipped their weekly coffee meetup. When Anna finally confronted her, Sarah admitted she felt spiritually judged and emotionally drained by their friendship. I just need space, she said. It's not you, it's me. But it felt like rejection. And not just rejection, from someone Anna had prayed with, cried with, grown up with. A few weeks later, James invited her to dinner and dropped a bomb. You're intense, Anna, he said, unable to meet her eyes. I need someone more relaxed. I feel like I can't be myself around you. Everything's spiritual. Everything's serious. He walked away. And just like that, two of the people closest to her heart were gone. Then came the job. A round of budget cuts. Anna was let go. She sat in the HR office, stunned. She had always over-delivered. She had never missed a deadline. But they said it wasn't personal. 3 losses. Back to back. Like dominoes falling. Anna began to wonder what she had done wrong. She replayed every conversation, every choice. Maybe she was too spiritual. Maybe she should have just laughed more. Talked less about God. Smiled through the emptiness. And for the first time in years, her prayers felt like they bounced off the ceiling. There's a kind of loneliness that words can't capture. Anna stopped leaving the house unless she had to. Her phone sat quiet. No job interviews came through. She filled out applications and prayed half-hearted prayers. She still read the Bible, but it was dry. She still listened to worship, but it felt hollow. Then came the dreams. In one, she was running, always running, from something she couldn't see. In another, she stood in a desert with no voice. In the worst one, she was buried alive, screaming, but no one came. And in real life, she woke up tired, spiritually foggy, emotionally numb. God, she whispered one night, curled up in a blanket. Why does it feel like you've left me? No response. That was the hardest part. Not the rejection, not the silence of friends, but the silence of God. She remembered Psalm 13 verse 1, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever?" It felt like her prayer. But then, something began to shift. It wasn't loud. It wasn't emotional. It was quiet, subtle, holy. One morning, she opened her Bible and came across John 15 verse 2. "Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit." She stared at the verse. For the first time in weeks, she wept. Was this pruning? She began to lose interest in things she once clung to. Social media, shallow conversations. Even old worship playlists didn't feel the same. Her soul started craving silence. Scripture. Solitude. She found herself journaling again. Not for content, but for connection. She started walking every evening at sunset, just her and God. No headphones. No distractions. Just quiet awareness. And in that stillness, the voice of God returned. Not audibly, but undeniably. "I never left you," it whispered in her soul. "I've been drawing you away." But the moment Anna started leaning into God's presence again, warfare hit. Temptations she thought she'd overcome resurfaced. An old friend invited her to a party filled with everything she'd been trying to leave behind. Even James texted, "Let's grab coffee?" Her dreams returned, but this time, she was fighting. In one, she stood in a storm, shouting scriptures. In another, she laid hands on someone and saw chains break. Spiritual heaviness followed her, especially when she tried to fast or pray longer. She remembered Ephesians 6 verse 12. "We wrestle not against flesh and blood." And she realized, the battle had intensified because breakthrough was near. God began to expose things around her. One friend she had trusted gossiped about her behind closed doors. A ministry leader she admired compromised in ways she never expected. It hurt, but it clarified. God was peeling away the layers, removing what couldn't go with her into the next season. Then, one night in prayer, Anna heard it deep in her spirit. "You are not being punished. You are being positioned." That week, she got a call from a non-profit ministry in Uganda. They had found her portfolio online. They needed someone to do design, lead devotionals, and mentor girls. Was she interested? Her heart leapt. Not because it was exotic, but because it felt like destiny. A year later, Anna stood beneath an African sunset, watching young women lift their hands in worship. The same hands once held shame. Now they held hope. She remembered the silence, the nights alone, the dreams, the pain, and she wept because she understood. If God hadn't separated her, if He hadn't removed Sarah, James, and the job, if He hadn't walked her through the desert, she wouldn't be here. She wouldn't have discovered who she really was in Him. Her final journal entry before flying out had one sentence: "You were never abandoned. You were set apart." Maybe you feel forgotten. Maybe everything is being stripped away. But don't run back to what God is trying to free you from. Let Him finish the separation. Because what's coming is worth it. The isolation isn't punishment. It's preparation.